Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sales Chatter. Today's Friday, wins and lessons with my buddy, the Bodacious Cowboy.
There you
Feeling
are,
ready?
man. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and let's hit that intro
Yeah,
and get
let's
started.
get this going.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
There we go, Burr. It's starting, like I was telling you off camera, like it's starting to get really cold in Toronto.
Yeah.
Today was the first morning I had to wear a jacket, actually go outside and put out the garbage and stuff like that. I think you're telling me it's cold in New Jersey as well, right?
Oh, yes. It was 44 degrees here, man. I mean, it was just like, holy crap. I mean, yesterday it was pretty warm. It was nice, but the wind started picking up, man. So first time. I love wearing shorts all year round, but not this morning.
Yeah, it just feels like yesterday we are just like enjoying like the first summer, like after
Yeah.
COVID, and like enjoying ourselves, going out to doing things that we normally did, and like now we're like back at it. But hey man, the good thing about being cold is that you can pick up the call and make some warm phone calls. Yeah, that was a shitty pun there, but Jeff, it's Friday, man. I've honestly been thinking like this week. I was telling my wife this, like this week has really flown by. It's been something that we've it's crazy, and this week with you and I and stuff, we've had some really good episodes. Personally, I think we killed it with some of the content we've kind of give them.
Yeah.
I want you, like, I know you were on vacation like this last week and stuff like that, and that was amazing. You took some time to yourself, and wins, lessons. Let's get into it, man. Like, I know you wrote down some stuff. I want to kind of hear some strategy.
Oh, yeah. And I'm glad that I did it. Let's start off with the lessons. The lessons that I taught myself is that you really have to take time off to take care of your inner self, you as an individual, and not be aware of everything else that is around you. Just get focused inwards. And that's a huge lesson for me because, these thoughts, these images, reflections, all of that just come out when you start really being laser focused and getting heavily involved into what happened in the last three quarters, where you want to be in the fourth quarter, and then writing all these different things down. And, of course, a few cocktails help, but, just sitting there, being by yourself, my wife, suntanning, and me just sitting there and just watching the waves crack. I mean, so it was a lesson to me that I got to do that more often for sure. You ever do that?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big believer in like taking time for yourself and kind of just getting away. Like one thing that I like to do is that weekly mornings is kind of just get away from the house, because I work from home. And like just go like to a Starbucks or go somewhere, go by the water or something like that, and just kind of think, and I'm big on when I know everyone kind of says like, hey, freight never sleeps and all that stuff, but like I'm a big believer that, hey, I put the phone down, I leave stuff in my office, and then I disconnect. I need to do things on my own. And just want to shout out everybody. Good morning, everybody. She's not LinkedIn user anymore, so shout out to my sister Rihanna this morning.
Hey, Rihanna.
Good morning, Daman.
Hey, Daman.
Brother. My boy Chad. I've been missing Chad. I love Chad and Lisa. I guess Lisa's a little bit late today, or maybe she's using his profile or something like that. But good morning, Chad and Lisa. Nice to see you. Ashley, I've been seeing you consistent every week, every day this week. And I just want to say good morning.
Hey,
hope you finish your week and everything like that. And hey, we got Christy here. Good morning, Christy. Hope you're doing amazing. It's really cool to have you here as well. And for everybody here, share your wins and losses in the comments. We want to interact with you guys, hear about all the successes, all the lessons that you guys have learned this week. And I'll just come back to your point, Jeff. Like I think it's really important. You got to try things for the first time, do different things, and your mindset kind of changes. And Jeff, how are you like feeling with like talking to like different people? Like I love talking to different people. I'll share a story about that.
I do. I really do. Part of my whole career over the last 35 years was traveling, going to all these different types of events, because I was I worked for Snyder National. I was the Northeast Regional Operations Manager for their intermodal division. So I used to go to Iana. I used to fly all over. I loved engaging with people and helping them to do things a little bit more efficient and productive. You know, when I worked for Ford and Jaguar, same thing, traveled all over the place. I actually look forward to meeting new people, because thank God I was blessed not to be an introvert. So, it was great. And I try to do that every day. I've spoken to Chad Petty and his wife, Lisa, amongst other people. And help them with certain things as well, because I really like that engagement and helping and mentoring and helping people get to the next level. And I did that throughout my whole career. So yeah, I love it, man. How about you? Do you get to travel or go anyplace?
Not really necessarily travel so much because I kind of like being at home, my dogs, and like talking to people like through video and having phone calls and stuff like that. So I like to like I've kind of like started doing as well is that I've took some of your advice, like go to like DCs around my area and things like that. So this week a win for me was honestly connecting with some people, some companies out in my area, and it's kind of
Yeah, I'm
cool
glad
to
you did that.
yeah,
I'm
you know
I'm
what?
really,
I think
I'm really
you got to
glad you
take it
did.
actionable, right? So it was really
Yeah.
important to me, and I don't know if you're the kind of same, but it's actually really cool, and it feels like it feels a lot better to talk to people that who are like around your area because I know the conversations I had with people is like, hey, have you been to this breakfast spot? Like, what do you normally get? Like, what's your favorite thing? And it's like they could relate to those things, right? And it's
Yeah.
not about talking freight. I didn't talk freight with any of these people. I just talk like life, Like I've been in my area for 25 years. A lot of these people I've talked to, they've been here for like 20, 30 years as well. So it's nice to kind of see the progression of our neighborhood and kind of maybe we'll talk freight next week, maybe we'll talk freight the week after, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to get to know each other, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's really important to talk to different people. Not even outside of your industry. I'll share a quick story that I thought was actually pretty cool. Was that we took our dogs to the park, like I want to say like either Tuesday or Wednesday, and there was nobody in the park. It was just me and my two dogs, and then all of a sudden there was like 10 dogs that kind of gathered, and they were all playing. And then I met with one of the owners, and now they like invited me to like a weekly like meetup that they always have. So it's kind of cool to just meet new people, have different discussions, and even like different careers, and just kind of see what there are because I've connected with salespeople like in the medical field, in the software field, and just to kind of hear like as much as like we're also different, we still kind of use all the same things, right? So I just want to say good morning, Scott. What do you kind of think in terms
Hey,
of like
Scott.
meeting different people and things like that? I know you're big on that, traveling and things like that. How about outside of your own circle? Like how's your interaction there?
Good. Like I'm going to be traveling down to Texas, see a few of my customers. Again, I love going out. I have a meeting right after this with one of my partners, and just to discuss, hey, where do we want to go? Our goals and objectives for the week. And I kept on telling you before. I hate sales. It's so funny. I fell in this because of being in the operations side on the logistics, right? Working for some of the largest Fortune 100 companies out there where instead of me developing them, they kind of developed me. But of course, in turn, I did the same thing and did some awesome stuff. And so I work from the inside out, where a lot of brokers, always attack from the outside in. And that's why I said to you, Ryan, some time ago, I said, listen, you want to, up your game a little bit, go visit those DCs, walk around inside, take a ride with a driver, a long haul, a short haul, last mile, home delivery, lift gate, all that stuff I did, and it's some of the best lessons that anybody can learn a lot quicker. Street smarts, that's a huge win. Street
Yeah.
smarts for me was much better than you could ever learn in a college environment and case studies, because when you have that skill level, you can hit those toggle switches quickly and make things happen in a jiffy, rather than really overthinking and making things more complex than what they really are. And I always laugh. That's the reason why I have hair on my head, because I only looked and focused on the controllable things and didn't spend too much time on the uncontrollable things, because all those active gods, there's not a damn thing in the world that you can do. So that's why when I talk to my customers and stuff like that, that I never guarantee capacity, because anybody that does, they're kidding themselves, because there's so many exceptions to the rules that it's against you. And so you just do your best to support your customers. And yeah, that's all part of the engagement, like talking to people. Like when I went to the events, walk up to people and say hi. If I'm friends with people on the internet and LinkedIn, and I see them at an event, I'll walk up, hey, how you doing? That's
Yeah,
what
the
you have
worst
to
thing you can
do.
do is not acknowledge somebody, that like it's like you have somebody on social media, but then you see them and you don't say anything, and it's like I hate when you kind of get the because it's happened to me before where like they saw me, they didn't come to me, but then they sent me a message later on saying, "Hey, I saw you at the show," and then my first response is like, "Why don't you come and say hi?" Like I don't bite, like so it's really important to kind of engage. It's funny that you mentioned the trade show thing because
Yeah.
I was at the Pet Expo last weekend and I took like an hour for myself just to actually do business, like do my logistics. I went up to different tables, talked to them, and we've kind of actually had discussions with like 2 or 3 of them this week, just based on introduction. Like I'm here volunteering, but here's what I do as my career, and everybody needs it. And even one of them prospects that said it was like, I wish I talked to you 2 weeks ago before I spent like 300 grand on new trucks that he bought. So it's like it's always good to have that, always have our logistics cap on, but at the end of the day, it's about being human as well, right? So you're not going there with an intention. Like you said, control the controllables. I'm not going to go into a conversation thinking, hey, I'm going to close this customer. I just want to start the
No.
conversation, and where it leads, right? So
Yeah, like I told you before, any engagement that I've ever had, I never talk about freight. It's the least important thing. I say in the logistics business, even though it does mean a lot. And why I say that is that you can't control what you don't know. And so it's highly important that you understand how an operations work from the inside out, and then open that communication channel and collaborate, and then bring the carrier on board and have those round tables, and make sure that you have that high level engagement with sales and operations internally, so that you can ramp up and be prepared and launch and be effective and not have too many failures. Where you fail is that when you have a lack of communication. So there's no finish line in this business. I never had one, because you're always reinventing and recreating the goals and objectives every single week that need to be met. And part of that is that discussion with your customer base, and making them aware of what's happening in the world. Open up their knowledge banks, sort of speaking. And then a lot of people, the funny thing about this, Ryan, is that a lot of people out there are afraid to have their customers talk directly to their carriers, because they're like, oh, they're going to back solicit, they're going to go right to the carrier, they're going to, no, man. If you have a good partnership with a customer and they believe in you and you believe in them, you don't have to worry about that. They're not going to do that, as long as you're committed to them and you're doing a damn good job. The benefits from bringing those carriers in is that they're going to learn the other side of the world. That's the huge benefit that any logistics manager out there can learn, is the carrier's need. Every carrier has just as many needs as a shipper. And if they just try to understand where they fail to understand why they ask the things they do, the benefits are like unbelievable. I'm telling you, from the negotiation to capacity to communication. I mean, it's I could just go on and on and on. And that's why I always preach that constantly, all the time. Take care of your carriers. They will take care of you.
100%. And that's like that's through the reverse engineering. Just want to shoot out good morning to Lisa. It's so nice to see
Hey,
this
morning, Lisa. How are you?
doing well. Scott brings up an amazing point, is that the key to that is effective communication, right? And that's the one thing we talk about we can control. We can't control when a truck shows up. We can't control anything that kind of happens, natural disasters, but we can control our communication, and I'm a big believer in not being reactive, being proactive. And that's definitely important. And then just get into our wins this week. For anybody who's, I tried a new strategy, and I'll share it with everybody. It worked for me. It got about a 80 to 90% response rate on it. So what I started this week was that I did a bunch of like email blasts in terms of 2-3 sentences. They're all personalized, but where I got the response back was on the second email. And all I said on the second email, wait 2 or 3 days after. So send your intro email, whatever it is, have your value proposition and everything like that, because you're trying to get them on the phone to book a meeting, right? The second email I sent, it was literally just a reply back to it with their name with a question mark. And I've had 80 to 90% people just reply back to that.
Awesome.
And it's something that I always want to share everything that I've kind of learned on my end. So that was a big win for me, getting these responses that I never really got before, just trying a new technique and always trying different things and testing and kind of seeing how it was. Another win, obviously, like I'll say this probably for the third time since I've been here every single Friday, but this show has done so great. It's been amazing for me, the connections that I've made, talking to different people in the logistics industry, because I always thought, like LinkedIn, I always had a mindset like, hey, if this person works for a competitor, screw them. I don't really need to talk to them. But I talked to so many sales reps from different companies that are just so supportive, because we're not watching each other's pockets. We're not watching each other's book of business. Like at the end of the day, we've all got our own stuff that we're working on. So the support that we've kind of got from everybody, it's been amazing, and I thoroughly love it. What about yourself, Jeff?
Yeah, one of the biggest wins was taking that vacation over, this past weekend. I needed it so bad to get away, and it just rejuvenated, re-energized myself, and gave me the ability to really focus in on a lot of things. I wouldn't say that I was lacking on, but where I needed to be in order to level up on that business plan and start engaging with my partners and take it to the next level. I put polls out there. I don't know if you saw them or not, but one of the polls was weekly call quotas. Is it about the quantity of them or the quality of the calls? And 90% said it's the quality of the calls. So that's really good. That's a win out there. So people are starting to adjust and start moving towards the right side of the engagement part of doing this business. And I'm really happy to see that. A lot of failures, which are wins, are that, and you take this as a win because it's also a lesson, is that a lot of my friends out there, I asked them straight out who are in the shipping business, and they said basically emails don't do it. It's like and you said it worked for you. And these are major shippers. And they basically said, an email is an easy way out.
Yeah.
You have to make that phone call. It's that personal touch,
Yeah.
that part of the engagement that makes it real. Anybody can write an email and send something off with the hopes of getting a return. A lot of them go to the trash. I'm being serious about that.
And I
So
think like
that's a
with
huge win. No.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I agreed. Like, you know what I think, especially, I feel like there's different demographics for that as well. And this is my own prospect and I can only talk about. But like, I find like anybody who's kind of been in a role that's like, let's say longer than 5 years as a shipping manager, they've been through it all. They've seen everything. But somebody who's kind of like, let's say they've moved companies within a year, or they moved 2 years or something like that, or like, within that 5 year period, that's where I kind of get, and I'm not gonna lie, that's part of my ideal client profile. Like I want to be with somebody who is kind of around my age, somebody that I can kind of grow with and things like that, because there's more things that we can relate, right? And that's just me personally. That's what works for me. In terms, so emails kind of like get me to that point to get to. I always get on the phone call. The phone call is the most important thing, because nothing is. I don't know. You've done this with your suppliers too. Have you ever had a situation where you send somebody an email? Doesn't matter who. You send them two questions and they only reply to one, and you're like, oh my god, like I should just call them.
I mean, that does happen, but like I said to you before, I'm not a transactional broker. Um, I look on dedicated stuff. That's all I do, and I hardly make any phone calls. I don't need to. I
Yeah.
really don't need to make phone calls in order to generate revenue for my business, and my partners are on the same wavelength as myself, because I've worked in very, very large, complex logistics operations over the last 35 years. Working for like Konica Minolta Medical Imaging, Hitachi, Jaguar, Ford, procurement manager for Panasonic of North America for.
It's breaking up there. I think. All right,
Oh, you
so
there? I
yeah,
don't
you're
know.
back there. You're back.
I don't know what happened in, managing well over $100 million worth of freight. So I used to get all those calls that came into me, and it was very bothersome. And I used to hang up on a lot because they were uneducated, unknowledgeable. They didn't do their homework up front. Like I got a lot of friends that are shippers that work for some very large companies. If I wanted to do business with them, I could. I know I could, but we talk as friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't discuss freight. And the way that I go about it is that every business has a downstream and an upstream. So a spider has many different legs. So if you're ingrained into one company, they're getting fed by somebody else, and they're also feeding somebody else. So if you knock that customer out of the park, you can feed down that revenue chain, a revenue stream, and start tapping into other ones. And that's basically the way that I do, and I've been very successful in doing that. So I don't have to spend my time wasting my time making phone calls and hitting quotas every single week. I have my goals, daily goals, and my weekly objectives, and I'm getting there real quick. And that's my engagement. Everybody likes to go different, take a different path, but I know what the shipper doesn't want to hear, and that's part of it. Killing them with emails and then calling them up and not knowing who they are, what they do, their background, what their company's all about. Do your homework, guys. I can tell you this over and over again until I'm dead. That's the word on the street.
That's the word on the street. That's the word it miss, and that's what comes with like 35 years of experience, and that's what I love about our show. Our show caters to everybody. Like it's somebody who's coming in brand new, somebody who's had the 10, 15 years experience, 5 years experience, and like it's just for everybody, right? And we want to kind of cater to that as well, like with that information. And Daman brings. Let's hear some Daman, because Daman's amazing. Daman, landed a new client. Congratulations, brother.
Awesome.
Correct. Like, thing best part is that the person totally fits the client profile, and person is super genuine, super nice, just a human being on the other side. Makes sales process worth it, that there's good people on the other side. Yep, there's good people out there. And one thing about Daman, if anybody hasn't met Daman or spoke to Daman before, like he's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. He's just so positive. He's amazing, and it's all about putting out those positive vibrations. Like even tonality is something that we should talk about too. Like, when you pick up that phone or even send an email with intention, like have that tonality that you're being a positive, you're uplifting, because nobody wants to have negative vibes or like, hear like, hey, when you're going to give me a low, like, you want to be positive and uplifting, because it's worked for me. People like I would say my customers that work with me, they like to work with me because I like to think I'm a pretty nice guy. But it's about reflecting as well, right? And for me, having different wins and different things like that, like hearing Daman like land a new client, that's amazing. Like it's such a testament to him and what he's done. I'd like to hear everybody else's wins in the comments as well, because we want to share that with you. And like Jeff, like you said, like it's I had a question for you. Actually, you were talking about the vacation, and one thing I like to do is that when I come off of vacation, I like to have my next one booked. Just so I have something really, really look forward to go to. Do you have your next vacation booked, whether it be next year or anything like that? I know you're going to Texas, but that seems like it's work. But when is?
My wife and I were talking about that. So we're going to the Bahamas. Then I'm going to take you to Cabo, and then we're going to Marco Island in March for the Landstar event. I go every year. Actually, the first one I went last year, but you have to meet certain criteria in order to go. But we always tag on a few other days on top of that for us time. And so I mean, you got to start breaking away. It's all part of it. And anybody that's been in the business for a long period of time, they'll tell you. But I was kind of lackadaisical and stupid about it, and I really haven't taken much time off. But I love what I do, man. I don't have any stress. People like I got a lot of hair on my head, man, for being in the business all that time. But I've learned how to disengage myself with the petty stuff. It's just not worth going at it. I love what I do. It's logistics isn't a job, it's an adventure, because every single day you wake up, you're going to get blindsided. You don't know where it's going to come from. You think everything is peachy keen. It's not. It's going to happen. So it's how you brace yourself and prepare yourself for the adversity that you're going to get hit with. And that makes you as a better person. And remember, how you react to adversity is going to affect your next call and how you communicate with your customer. If you keep that internalized, you can't do that. And that's another huge win. So, don't worry about the small stuff. Like I said, don't pay too much attention to the uncontrollable. You're not going to control it. I don't care who you are.
You're not. And then Scott brings up a great point here. Encourages Daman, keep making the logistics great, which he's done. Amazing. Daman comes back here. 100% Ryan, sending out positive affirmations, some vibrations, positivity, give people through conversations and through emails. And that's what you can, right? Like one thing I kind of saw, and this is the way that I kind of handle my business, is that I want to be seen, be heard, and then disappear, and that's the way it is. Just make these deposits, and just bring the positivity on there, right? And I know I kind of missed it a couple of days, so we'll get into the lane of the day. I know I missed it a couple of days.
Do that.
Let's get Awesome. So lane of the day is going to be flatbed from Baltimore, Maryland to Charlotte, North Carolina. Line haul RPM is looking at $2.23 a mile. All in with fuel is $2.97 a mile. Contract rate, including fuel, is going to be $3.39 a mile. Year over year spot line haul our rate per mile change has been minus 5 cents. The comments on here is that some upward movement on this lane after averaging about $2.07 for the last 2 months. Current rate is 16 cents higher than the August average. So we're kind of seeing that with all the lanes of the days that we kind of go through, is that they're changing from August, right? So it's definitely, if you run that lane, definitely a conversation to have with your customers and things like that. And I know, Jeff, you're a big flatbed guy, so maybe if you got some flatbed customers, you'll send that over to them.
I do. That was a win. I'm starting to move some oil business and piping out of Texas up to Canada, and that's big time. And that was a win this past week and the week before. So I didn't mention that because I thought other things were more important.
No, and that's the thing, right? And coming back to vacation, like you said, well, first of all, congratulations on like planning the next vacation, Cabo, Bahamas, all that stuff, because it's something that the first job that I worked at was I was cradle to the grave, and I'll never forget this. I took a vacation with my then girlfriend, and I was working the 7 days. I didn't know, like, even though I told the team and everything like that, but I really didn't have too much support. But I was like, this is not life. I think we went to Dominican, and I was literally working away while I was there, like tracking loads and booking them and all this stuff. And I was like, this is not it. This is not it for me. And then I went to my second job where we have an ops team to support things like that. And then obviously at the current company that I'm at, but you've got to kind of find what your balance is, because if you're working 24/7 all the time, it's not feasible. And it's not, why work yourself to death? Like, look at Jeff, he has a full set of hair, like I got a full set of hair. I cut it on purpose, but like, you want to be able to reflect in your business, in your personal life and your professional life in terms of the hobbies that you like to do. And I'm really big on hobbies. I know, Jeff, like, I don't think I've ever asked you this on live or anything like that, but outside of freight, outside of like things, is there things you like to do, like play instruments or like what are
so really funny and quick. For 18 years, I told you that, we raised, bred, hunted, showed, won the national with our Jack Russell Terriers for over 18 years. We also, my daughter was also a 9-time world barrel racing qualifier. Used to go down to Texas. Here I'm in Jersey, so pack up on a Friday night, load up our 3-horse trailer, head down to Texas, turn around, come right back, and go to work on a Monday. So you talk about like flying and getting things done. That was my weekends for let's see, about 16 years as well. So, I mean, hobbies gone every single weekend. When I used to do dog shows, get off of work at 5 o'clock, pack up my truck at the time, put my 12 dogs in there and head up to London, Ontario, Canada. Maybe I should have been a freaking truck driver. I don't know. I mean, it was funny, and then get up there, have 2 hours of sleep, wake up at 4:30 in the morning, prepare a dog, show it. show them all day, go out to dinner, turn around and head right back home and get back, late on a Sunday. So, I've always been full of energy, and I bring that into my business. But, as you get older, you can't do that and sustain those weekends and live your life on 4 hours, 6 hours worth of sleep.
No, you can't.
And have an impact on your business. So I backed off of that, and that's where that bodacious cowboy that freaking Mark came up with, that stuck. And it's pretty funny that his son Baxter, who's 8 years old, he goes, "Is that? Hey, that's the bodacious cowboy," and we started laughing and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've been a cowboy for a long time, and it was very, very enjoyable.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Honestly, awesome to hear. And you know what? Like, like I said, it's really important to have hobbies, things that you can kind of disconnect to. It doesn't matter like if it's video games, if it's something like you're a movie buff or something like that, or like for me, my thing is like I play music. I've been doing music since I was probably like 5 years old, right? So I think it's really important to kind of disconnect and reflect on the day, and things like that. And honestly, this is another amazing episode as always, Jeff. It's honestly been a pleasure. I missed you on Monday when I was by myself, but that was a lesson.
You did well.
Thank you. That was a lesson for me. It's like, I want to do a lot better. Like if I have to do like YouTube videos, something like that.
Oh, that's right. Because you did a solo. That's right.
Yeah, I did a solo, I was
Good for you. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was a great.
I have to give you a round of applause.
Thanks, brother. Thank you so much. But honestly, I want to thank everybody for coming out this week. It's been amazing to see the engagement that we've been having.
Yes.
For the past couple of weeks.
Very much.
And like I said, if there's any kind of topics that you guys want us to really kind of dive deep into, because these discussions, we kind of just pick them on the fly and then we just go at it. And it seems scripted, but it's not scripted. So that's what I love about our show.
It's not pre-planned whatsoever. It's just like, all right, let's do it, man. Ad hoc, whatever happens. So be prepared.
Yeah, and we haven't been kicked off yet. So we're doing awesome. So just want to say thank you to everybody. Scott brings up an amazing thing here. Just honestly want to give great show. Just continue prayers for Dan. Yeah, family and friends. Have a great weekend. Yeah, Dan, we love you. We miss you. Hopefully you're doing a lot better. I talk to Dan daily. He's doing a lot better, and
he's
can't
doing.
wait to see him.
Spoke to him this morning. Yep.
He's doing great. So just want to thank everybody once again. We will be, as always, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Please like, comment, share it. If there's any kind of value that you kind of see, please let us know. We definitely do try our best, and we will be hitting those replays at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time. To everyone, Jeff, have an amazing weekend, my friend.
Yes.
I'll see you on Monday, and let's get it.
Everybody enjoy the weekend. Thanks for being in attendance.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics.